Shall I go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm Jinx in the Sky. I'm an artist from Austria, but I'm living in New Zealand. I've been here for 7 years and I like painting my dreams and things connected to them. I love dreaming, and once I dreamt of dying. It was quite an impressive dream that is still vivid in the memory. I remember standing on a hill at night time. It was outside my house, my imaginary house, not a real one. Just in the dream I was living, and I was looking at a different house that had a family living inside. And the window, there was a big window. It was lit orange. I could see them coming down the stairs. And then I looked to the right of the house, and in the sky there was like some stars or just like a little bit of white light. And the more I looked at it, the bigger it was, and it kept coming out of the sky, just this white light. But it was not just a light like a normal light. It was strokes, like as if somebody was drawing little lines with a pencil, but just a white pencil all over the sky, and it kept getting more and more, and it just kept coming towards me, and it was all of a sudden the whole sky was white and everything around me was white, and the white light enveloped me, and there was nothing else, just whiteness, and this feeling that something is happening to you and you are not where you were just before you're dying, but it's not a bad feeling. It's like this feeling of happiness and this feeling of understanding, and you're not sad at all about the life that you've just left behind. It took me in, and then it switched off, and I found myself lying in bed again in like a dream house. It was like a white house, kind of just a white bungalow sort of thing. Very organic looking. And next to me in bed, where supposedly my boyfriend was normally lying, was just a rock. Somehow in the dream it made sense to me that something had happened, and only some people had survived it, but most of them had been turned into rocks. But I was also dead, but also in a new world. And then I remember grabbing some paper and a pen, and I opened the door, and then I saw outside it was daylight, and it was nice, a nice day. And it was like Teletubby hills, like just green hills, and I saw people coming out of from in between the hills. And I went to join them and to make a map of the new world. That was my dream of death. So, when I was a kid, I remember I once asked where water came from, and I was told it came from, just cracks in the rocks and springs in the rocks, and that made me think that in the earth there's little rocks, like about hand-sized, with a hole in it, that comes like a never-ending stream of water, just flows out of it, and that's how rivers are made. And I thought it would be really awesome to like have one of those rocks, because you could just fill up your swimming pool with it, and if you don't need it, you just put it back into the river, and you just remember where it was, and if you need it again, you just go and grab it. Yeah, stuff like that. I remember, yeah, just being outside a lot as a kid. Everything just was different, and nothing was as it was today. Just everything had different meanings. And I had like a tree that I was singing a lot on. It was my stage, and I just jumped from branch to branch just singing. And I had like an imaginary audience. Or sometimes the neighbors across the river were my audience too, but I don't know if they heard me. But they were like old men, and they were just hunting, and I think they hunt the sparrows in the gardens, and they just shoot them because they just want to shoot them, just like for fun, which sucks because it's not good. Yeah. Okay, so OCD, I thought about this question quite a lot because I couldn't find anything that's really OCD about me today, like not much more interesting than like the next person. Like I check if I got my phone in my pocket when I leave the house, like or something like that. But I don't go around turning light switches off and stuff like that, or oven stoves and stuff. But when I was a kid, I was a bit more wacky. Like I had, because I was, raised in a more religious background. I believed that God was protecting my bunny rabbits overnight because they were sleeping outside in like little hutches. And when I fed them every night, like after I closed the little doors, I drew some crosses over the locks so that God would protect them. But here's the thing, like I could only do like an uneven amount of crosses, otherwise I believe they cancel each other out. So I could only do 1 or 3 crosses, or sometimes if I have heaps of time I do like 11, like a spell. And I remember my favorite bunny rabbit always got at least 3. Yeah, because you know, they have to be protected because there's stoats and weasels in Austria and they get in, and sometimes they do get in, and God failed to protect them. Yeah, I remember once when I only found, I opened the door and there was only the paw of one of my rabbits there, and I didn't know where the rest was. Yeah, I ran away to my dad and was like, wow, my rabbits are dead. That was, yeah, very scary. So I've been working on a little series of small paintings, mainly because, like, a year and a half ago, I went through a breakup. So my relationship was a 6-year relationship, and after that I felt I need to paint something very, very defining of my situation or of my new self, and I wanted to create like an empowering piece. And so I bought this massive canvas. It is massive, like really, really big, and it was on sale, so it was half price, which is good. And I ended up carrying it home on the bus, but I couldn't do anything. Like I knew what it was gonna be, but I just couldn't start on it. Instead, I did like lots of little pieces of just like small photo-sized pieces of art that were kind of just the feelings that I had, and the feelings were coming out like mostly in like one-nighter settings of like one piece of art per night, and mostly negative. And I just started doing black and white paintings, and then as you know, the sadness and everything passed and you learn and you grow a little bit more. Like, maybe when did I start this? Maybe I don't know, like a few months ago, maybe 4 months ago, I started with the first small paintings of more colorful ones again, like really, really vivid ones. And they're also like around the general topic of love and emotions that are connected with it, and lack of love and the emotions connected with that. And I like it because, yeah, they're very vivid and really like kind of dipped into this haze of colors and patterns that I have when I like have an orgasm. I see them inside of my inner eye, which is really cool. I don't know if many people have that, but I just felt like putting it into art would be a really cool and original thing to do, and so that's what I'm working on at the moment. Yeah. A piece of art that's changed my life. Well, it was just recently. I went to Austria again, because that's where I'm from, and I visited last summer, and I saw a really amazing exhibition. The artist is Gottfried Hellwein, and he's an Austrian artist. He's been around for quite a while, and I've come across his work sometime online. And so this time I was lucky enough that he had an exhibition at the time when I was visiting, so I went to see it in Vienna. And he paints mostly young children, like very innocent children, but in his paintings they've been harmed in a way, like something wrong has been done to them, and sometimes it's very obvious because they're covered in blood and stuff. Sometimes it's very subtle, like a really empty and sad expression in their eyes. And you know, like his paintings are massive. They're like wall-sized and very photorealistic. He does use photos as a reference. So they're very, very powerful and very strong. And because of his topic, his art has caused quite some controversy over the years. He's been painting since the 70s, and some of his exhibitions, like people said, how can you paint this? I'm losing sleep over this. I can't sleep. This is horrible. And he kind of realized that it wasn't his paintings that scared people, it was the pictures that were like in their own minds that stirred things up. And so that was very inspiring for me to just hear that an artist with just a canvas and some paint in the right places can, you know, stir up the soul in the innermost places. Yeah, that was a funny one. Yeah, Superman. So, I guess if the Earth needed saving, it depends from what kind of things it needs saving. If I was asked to, reverse the effects of climate change and things like that, which to a degree I think we are responsible for, then there's other parts which we are not responsible for, like, all the ice ages that just happens because Earth just goes through some cycles. But if, with all the shit that we've been doing to the planet, if I was asked to help that, I'd say no, because we don't deserve that, and if somebody was just cleaning up the stuff that everybody did, I think nobody would learn from the situation. We'd just go on polluting the planet and, wasting the resources. But if everybody had their shit together and humanity was awesome and nice, and, we got into a new age of things, like people have been predicting from the Mayan calendar, end of the world sort of things, we're going into this new circle or just new age. And if everything was really cool, and then say like a comet came to crash into the Earth, then yes, I think I would save it, because that's like an unworthy death. Just not cool to go that way. So I would fly up there, yeah, and I would take it and throw it into a black hole and things, yeah. Then yes.